What's up, Baller Nation? Augie Johnston here with BallerBootcamp.com, and you already know this is another Q&A. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys are liking these Q&As. I'm putting a lot of work into them, and I think they're turning out pretty good. So if you like them, go ahead, crush that like button right now and let me know. Also, you can leave a comment below and I'll try to answer it in one of the other future Q&As. But mostly, I get the Q&A questions from our Facebook group. So I'll put the link in the description down below as well, and you can go ahead and join that if you'd like. Okay, so enough talk, let's go ahead and get right into this. First question comes from Jonathan Norris, finally an easy name to pronounce. And his question is, what is the best way to deal with a selfish or big-headed teammate? And I think that a lot of players can relate to this question. I know I've dealt with it in the past, and I think it's kind of just comes with the territory. A lot of good basketball players, they are a little selfish and a little big-headed, because, you know, to play this game, confidence is one of the essential elements, right? To answer your question though, the part about being big-headed, let them be as cocky, as big-headed as they want. They're only making themselves look bad. Maybe you don't know, but you can be as high on yourself, as confident as you want on the inside. You should believe that you're the best player every single time that you step on the court. The best players, they don't actually talk about that kind of stuff. They just show it. They just show that they're the best players on the court. They don't actually tell people. The people that are out there saying, oh, I'm the best, or, you know, putting other people down, that's their own insecurities, okay? That's their own worry that they aren't the best. So they basically try to convince other people with their words that they're better than they actually are. So as far as dealing with the big-headed type players, just let them be, okay? Just ignore them. Let that go in one ear and out the other, and use that as motivation to work harder. Now, if they're being selfish as far as like they're not passing the ball and they're not playing the right way, then there's a few things you can do. One is to call for the ball. Normally, you don't want to be out there clapping and calling for the ball from teammates. You got to trust that they have the court vision to find you. But when you're dealing with somebody that you think is selfish, maybe sometimes they're just not seeing you. So go ahead, call for that ball. Also, you want to make sure that you get them on your side. If they're being selfish and not passing it to you, then maybe part of the reason is they don't have trust in you. That happens a lot of times, like guys like Kobe, they're not passing the ball because basically they want to take the responsibility on themselves. They don't trust their teammates to make the right plays, so they're not passing it to them.
You shall not pass!
So when they do pass you the ball, make a play, make a shot, get an assist, or make something positive happen for your team. So inadvertently, it kind of makes them look good by passing you the ball because they get an assist, or coach can tell them nice pass or whatever.
No.
And when you do get those passes, make sure you remind them. Tell them, hey, good pass, appreciate that. Way to find me, good look, that kind of stuff. Just kind of like positive reinforcement to try to get them to pass you the ball. All right, so the next question comes from Harold. I'm gonna butcher this last name, Bubuli. And he says, how do you get in the zone? Now this is a good question. I think a lot of players are curious about what is the zone? What is getting in the zone? Basically, getting in the zone is where you feel like you're ultra focused and the basket is huge. It feels like everything you throw up, it just goes in. You're on fire, you're in the zone. Now the best way and the easiest way to get into the zone is to make a few shots in a row, right? Get an easy layup, make the next jumper. Then you're gonna start to kind of feel the confidence building, and you're gonna feel a little bit more confident in the next shot you take, which is in turn gonna help you actually make that shot. And if you can get into that zone and get into that flow, that's really the ultimate. That's the thing that we're all looking to do, right? So another important thing about getting in the zone is you wanna make sure that you get good shots to start the game off in. If you put up a couple bad shots and you miss 2 or 3 in a row, it's gonna really be hard to kind of flip the switch and get into that zone. It's gonna take a while till you can get rolling, when in turn, if you make sure your first open shots are high percentage shots and you're able to make those 2 or 3 in a row, then you have a good chance of getting in the zone, getting that flow, and letting that basket just feel like it's, you know, huge, where everything you throw up goes in. So my advice is to get a layup, get easy shots, try to make a few in a row to start the game off, and then in turn, it's gonna help you get into that flow. All right, next question comes from Luciano Villagran. Messed that one up too, and he says, who do you think is the best player in the NBA and why, and the all-time NBA best and why? So currently, of course, I think everyone can agree on this for the most part, that LeBron James is the best player in the NBA. He has the total package, defense, passing, scoring. Really the only like downside to his game is his outside shooting, and it's really not even that bad. Because he's such like a matchup problem and so big and so athletic at the same time, like he doesn't have to really rely on that shot. He doesn't stand out there and settle for threes all day. He gets to the basket. And so I think he's the best player in the NBA because of that right now. Now, the best player of all time, I still got to go with Michael Jordan. I think Kobe had a good chance in his career to try to surpass that, but obviously he didn't. I think everyone can agree on that. I mean, some Kobe fans out there might think that he was better than Jordan, but I mean, he didn't get that 6th ring. A lot of the rings he got, he had Shaq. So I can't say that Kobe's better than Jordan, and I think Jordan is the greatest player of all time. I think the only other player that really you could say maybe be like Augie Johnston, or you can make an argument for LeBron, but I think he still has a little bit more work to do to get on that level. All right, next question comes from George Dokic, and he says, Augie, I'm 6'1", I can dunk, I have a good mid-range, 33% 3-point shot, but the key to my game is defense. Was wondering, should I stick to an athletic point guard style of play, or pray to God that I grow a little and adapt to like a small forward like Kawhi or Pippen? Now, I understand why you're saying like Kawhi or Pippen, because you say defense is your thing. That was kind of those guys' thing. But man, you're 6'1", and you play point guard. That's a good size for a point guard. And the way the game's changing, point guards are getting a lot taller. So even if you do hit a growth spurt and go to 6'4", now you're a 6'4" point guard. You put yourself in a really good position to be a big guard, and that's really hard to guard, that can post other guards. And if you keep improving on that outside shot, that 3-point shot, and get that up to like 40%, you are gonna be a problem. A 6'4" point guard that can shoot 40% from 3 and good from the mid-range and a lockdown defender, that is the kind of player I want as a point guard on my team. So I would say stick to the point guard, man. There's no reason to try to go ahead and become an off guard if you are already a point guard. I would stick with it just in case you don't grow, then you're still set up for success. Okay, I got a couple overseas basketball questions. One comes from Marcel Nickish, and his question is, when did you start realizing you can play ball overseas? So I remember the first time I heard about playing basketball overseas, I was in high school sometime. But at that point in my journey, it wasn't really an option for me. I wasn't like some big time high school recruit or whatever. But the time that I actually kind of started to realize it, I would say it was my junior year in college. That year I averaged like 15 points a game and shot like 48% from 3 or something like that. And that was actually a good year for me because I played at a D2, which was in a really good conference. And I had seen other players that averaged, around that going overseas. So I said, hey, maybe this is a possibility. The next season, I averaged around 16 points a game. That's when I said, all right, I can make this happen, especially since I had like all conference awards and, the 3-point shooting percentage records and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of when I was like, okay, I can make this happen. And so all you players out there that are in high school and stuff are saying, oh, I'm gonna go play overseas after high school. Like, that's not gonna really happen. That's not really a possibility because you have to do good in college first. If you don't do good in college, there's really no reason for a team to fork out money to pay somebody that hasn't even proven themselves in college when there's like thousands and thousands of players in college that have awesome resumes, that play D1, that average 15 points a game at D1. Like, why are they gonna take someone that just is out of high school or someone that hasn't played in college yet over a guy that's already proven himself? There's so many players out there trying to do it. The next question is also an overseas question. It's from Lynn Malakal. And he says, what process did you go through in order to play at the overseas level? And I don't know if you're talking about the process of getting better and improving or the process of actually getting signed, but I'm gonna just talk about the process of getting signed. If you wanna play overseas, 99% of the deals that happen through agents, okay? So you need to get an agent. That's how I did it. You get an agent, they're the ones that talk with the team, and they have a whole bunch of different teams that they're in touch with, and basically the teams, they go to the agents, they say, hey, I need a 6'4" shooting guard that can shoot high percentage from 3, is a really good defender, and is athletic as well. We want them to be able to guard the point guard all the way through the 3-man. They get pretty specific, and then these agents, they have their list of players, and they say, okay, here's 3 players that fit that, and then the teams say, okay, well, I'll check out this guy's game film, I'll check out this. They check out all the game film, then they kind of weigh their options. Maybe they have another agent they're talking to as well. And then in the end, they make their decision. They get in touch with the player, make sure it's the right fit, character-wise, personality-wise, goal-wise, and then they sign that player. So that's basically the process that most players take. But also, if you are like, okay, well, I don't have an agent, I don't have the kind of connections to get an agent, all that kind of stuff, my advice to you would be just network. Let everyone know that you're trying to play overseas that might have any kind of connections, and go from there. Because if you don't try, then it's not gonna happen for you. All right, next question comes from Michael, and he says, I'm a 5'8" point guard / shooting guard, combo guard. Is it bad to lift heavy weights at the age of 15 while I already do lift weights like 50-pound squats, bench press, etc.? So if your answer is yes, should I stop or should I just adjust the weight? And if no, should I do weightlifting the same day as I train basketball? Hope you can answer my question. So you're 15 years old, you should be doing strength training, okay? You're almost even late to the game. I normally advise that once you're 14, you should start doing strength training. Before that, you should be doing a lot of body weight stuff to learn it, to start to kind of build a foundation. So yeah, it's fine to lift heavy weights at 15. You need to. Just make sure you're eating properly, getting lots of calories, lots of protein every day. But yeah, 50-pound squats, that's not heavy at all. You can definitely be doing that. You can even up that weight to whatever. I don't know how strong you are and stuff. Don't hurt yourself, but make sure you got proper technique. You should be doing more than just squats and bench press though. You should be doing, full upper body strength training, full lower body strength training, and of course like your explosive type training with plyometrics. Just make sure you're safe, and yes, you can do it the same day that you have basketball practice or basketball training or whatever. It's not a big deal. Just I don't like personally to go hit the weights really hard, then go straight into like a shooting workout or straight into practice, because it does affect your shot a little bit. It does affect your touch on the ball a little bit. You're a little, more sluggish, not as explosive and stuff like that. But I mean, it's not going to really affect you in any kind of negative way, hitting the weights then going and shooting. But it's just harder, it's tougher, and it's a little more frustrating, I would say. So yeah, go ahead, man, hit those weights, get stronger, get more athletic. It's all good. Alright guys, I hope you guys liked that video. If you did, hit that like button for me. Get used to hitting that like button for me. If you're new, subscribe. Also, leave me a comment. Let me know what the kind of videos you want to see. And most importantly, if you haven't already, head over to ballerbootcamp.com. I got a free workout for you guys over there that you can download, print out, take to the gym, and follow to improve your shooting, your ball handling, and your finishing. So go ahead and click one of the links on the screen right now, and I'll see you guys in the next video.